Let me bang.
I do let you bang. Hey,
let me bang you, James, man.
I let you bang. I let you bang.
Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No forget Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy?
What's up, people? Welcome to a brand of MMA Roasted Podcast. Me, Adam Hunter, here with Greg Romero Wilson, waiting for Sean John to come. They say they'll be here in a couple seconds. So I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're having a good week. Greg, how was Flagstaff?
It was awesome. It actually turned out great. Went up there, did two great shows. I mean, the second show. First show was good, but then I did some pretty edgy material at the end. They were kind of pussies about it. And then, but they still loved it. It all went great. But then the second show, I just improvised for 45 minutes. It was just wild. I'll post that on my YouTube later this week for sure. It was just a wild show. It was fun. It was just all crowd work. So, and then the next day did my crowd work workshop. That went great. And then just came back to LA. So that was it. How was you sound like you're a little under the weather. How are you feeling?
No, I'm good. I took a nap. I took my kid to school because Bree works at like 6 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I got to take her to school early and get her ready and everything. And then I went back and took a nap before the podcast. Then I fucking woke up like, oh shit. Like the nap went way longer than I thought it was going to be.
I know. That's how it just happened to me. I was like, oh, I got 15 minutes of the podcast. I'll catch a quick shower. And then I'm like, oh, fuck the podcast. And I got a shower. It's 11:59. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So, totally get it.
That's exactly what happened. It was good. I did it at Arizona, JP's Comedy Club. They're going to love you. Fun room. It only holds about 110, 120 people. Like, sometimes that's
my level. That's what I like. You know, that's what I'm not gonna. I can sell that out.
But it's perfect. They Arizona's like a fun. I don't know. It's a fun group of people. They're kind of conservative, but they're like conservative liberals in some ways. Like they're just like they don't. It's a crazy. I don't know. Maybe the heat or something gets people like Arizona and Vegas are two places I always do well in, and Florida.
Yeah.
But that was cool. It was hard because well, first of all, on Thursday, I drove me and Violet to the show. So I drove 6 hours to the show. I had David Michelle's wife watch Violet during the show because Bree was going to come and fly us out there. So Emmy, her many horses, that's her name. And she's like the best. She's the best. You know, they're Native American. So that was cool. But then I had to pick up Bree from the airport. And then, of course, while I'm driving, I get a 9-page audition where I know the executive producer of the show. So he requested me.
That's good.
Yeah, but it's due tomorrow.
Oh,
so it was one of those things I had to then, okay. So then I pick up Bree and I promised her that I would focus on her this weekend. It would be fun. I'm not going to, no work, just comedy wise and that. So then it was I picked her up. Then I had my friend come in or Zoom the audition. I'm in the weight room of the hotel, and I'm building.
Right. Because there's a blank wall that you can actually shoot against or something.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. And
oh my God.
And it's due at 10 a.m. on Friday.
Oh,
and it's
shit.
9 pages. So I'm making this makeshift, dumbbell off the sanitizer as a tripod. And then I have another one so my friend can Zoom me, and then I finally get it 3 hours later. And then for some reason, when I'm watching it back, it's all blurry. And I'm because the way that the way the camera was on the whatever, because the tripod, my camera doesn't work on a tripod. It the back of it's screwed up. Anyway, so now I'm 3 a.m. I'm Googling how do I unblurry a video, right? So I'm fuck, God. So now I'm waking my wife up saying fuck every 6 minutes because I'm downloading all kinds of programs. None of them are working. So then I'm just okay. So then I do it again with my acting coach, 8 o'clock in the morning because it's due by 10. And then I killed it. I'm super happy that I had practiced for 3 hours the night before, but I was just like, oh God. So that was that. But last time my wife got me back, or 2 nights ago, because we're watching Cobra Kai, we're having a great night, and then we turn it off, and she starts getting me like hard, and then she gets giving me like about to give me a BJ, playing with it, and she goes, let's talk about our hopes and dreams. Like right before she's about to give me a blowjob. I'm like, all right, well, I hope you blow me, and then I'll dream about it. It's just one of those, my wife's super funny. But yeah, so that was that. And then we went to Build-A-Bear. My daughter has this new thing now. I don't know, Sean, you ever have this thing where she wants something? She cries, I want a bear, I want a bear. So, okay, I'll get you a bear, but you have to play with it. And, you have to be good. And, the whole thing, right? And I kind of was like, hey, you want a bear? Okay. I want that bear, I want a dress. Yeah. So, and then at Build-A-Bear, they give you like a bear certificate and the whole thing. And like, it starts off. And then like 30 minutes on the way home, I don't want any more. Well, I can't.
What?
She starts crying. I don't want any more. Crying. That's she's crying that she doesn't want it. Which I guess now my daughter knows how marriage is. Like you want something and then you get married. You're like, I don't want it. But it's just, I'm just like, okay. So now we're not, this is not how we do things. This is not. Don, did you ever have that? I mean, Sean, where you get something and your kid doesn't want it anymore, so it's crying about it?
Yeah, I would give it away right in front of them and tell them they'll never have another one. That's exactly like it. Like my kids didn't. They didn't mess up very often, man. I only had to spank them twice ever because I made it count when I did it. So like if my kids said they didn't want something after I got for them, I'd be like, that's okay. And then I would give it away to another kid, and then there would be no getting anything else for a month. And then they would think before they spoke next time. So,
but when they were 4 years old.
Yeah, I spanked my kids when they were 2. Like if my kids, the first time they told me no, both of them, they were 2.5. They told me no when I told them to do something, and I swatted their butts, man, like probably 4 or 5 times hard, and they never said no again. They did whatever I said after that. Like I broke them early on it, like not hard enough to leave marks or bruise them, but enough to where they were afraid to get spanked from that point on. So it's yeah, I didn't. I don't know. I wasn't like a Nazi dad. Well, I was a Nazi and also a father, but I wasn't a Nazi dad. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but I didn't I didn't tolerate back talk. I didn't tolerate no. My kids did what I said the first time I told them to do it, and it actually saved my son's life. My son's birthday party when he was 5, he was chasing after a ball in our front yard. Somebody kicked it, and it was going out in the street, and someone was driving 70 down a street. They should be driving 20 down. And I yelled at my son to stop, and he stopped. I mean, on a dime, he stopped. Stopped running like immediately. And if he hadn't, he got ran over by a car, like he got hit. So my kids, I always made my kids obey me the first time I said something, and there was no discussion. Like the very first time I said anything.
Don, did you ever have that? Like with your kid, like since they want something and then you get it for them, and then all of a sudden they don't want it. It's this new thing now, or?
Oh, I never had that problem. My kids, their mother was really stingy and wasn't spending any money on them. So when they got something, they really appreciated it. They loved it. And I'd spoil the hell out of them. I'd come back from Japan with a bunch of Japanese Barbie dolls and Hello Kitty toys and things like that.
Nice.
And I always brought them gifts.
Did you ever spank your kids?
When I traveled to across the states here to do appearances and things, I would buy them a cow or a pig, and and I came home one day. I guess, honey, guess what I got you? She says, you got me a cow, and you got Cassie a pig.
You're like, yeah, I got you 2 pictures of your mom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, play toys.
Exactly.
So Violet loves selling shirts after shows, Greg. Like I sell merchandise.
Right.
So, and then like I sell.
Listen, if that doesn't increase your sales, I can't help you. That should triple your sales to have Violet.
I sell like shirts 5 times as more, and
it makes perfect sense.
I'll be on stage. I'm like, my daughter's selling t-shirts. If you don't buy it, she can't eat, so go to those. So anyway, so there's like
if you don't buy it, she can't throw away her $80 Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, don't give me people watching the show, especially one person. Stop. I know you mean well, but I don't need you to tell me how much I'm spoiling my kid and write me a 45-page email about what I'm doing wrong after you listen to this podcast. I appreciate it, but thank you. But I
mind your own business.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah, exactly. It's like, as much as, we may all have commentaries about someone else's parenting style, but unless it's your kid, you don't know. You don't know. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you don't know how little bastard acts when you're not there.
Exactly. There's a lot of context that goes into parenting. That moment is never the moment you just tuned in. It didn't start right there, okay? This show's been going for 6 years. Right. These motherfuckers all want to judge, and it's like, no. You judge your shit, okay? I'll take care of my shit.
So my daughter sells t-shirts, right? So we sold like 5 off the bat, but it was the first night they have an open mic there, so half the crowd's like comics. They're not going to buy anything, right? So it was open mic after the show, which they're actually, you could tell they're new comics, and they were all laughing and having a good time. So,
exactly. Wait 6 months, guys. You guys will hate each other and you won't laugh for shit.
So, or I'm outside with my daughter, and we sold like 7 t-shirts, right? And she's like, I want to sell 10. I can tell her, Daddy, I want to sell 10. There's no one else coming out. I'm like, all right.
Well, that's how you know she's half Jewish.
Right.
So I went and gave people money to buy t-shirts, and then they gave me the money back. So
how many of them shifted?
I was gonna say, how many of them took off with the fucking money? I would have been like, you got it. Boom.
So I like rigged the game basically. So now we sold 10, but we really only sold 7. But people were coming up, I'll buy one, and then I have to go in the corner and give them, do the exchange back. It's like it's like a bad drug deal. Anyway, so that was that, and then I started coaching wrestling. By the way, so I got this kid Sean Don on my team who's like, 5'3", like 180, like little chubby kid. Really sweet kid. He loves wrestling. He wears like Rey Mysterio shirts and stuff. He's really, but he needs to lose some weight. He's 5'3", but you can't tell a kid anymore, hey, you got to lose weight, or hey, you're overweight, or you have to be super careful how you say that.
Can't you? Why?
That's what I'm thinking. You can't be like, hey, you need to drop some weight. I mean,
why?
It's sports.
He's in 7th grade. He's in 7th grade. You guys, we got to
coach. 7th grade. 7th grade is when your balls drop. You should be able to take a little fucking criticism. And that's not criticism. That's not even criticism.
It's telling them you want to do the sport, drop some fucking weight. You don't want to do the sport, you can be fat all you want, not on the team.
Well, everyone makes a team, but Don.
Yeah, you want me a short, fat Maxine? Go be a comic. Fuck.
Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly where I was going with that. I was like, they didn't want me on the team. I wanted to be fat.
And by the way, Don, your balls probably dropped when you were 3. So let's be honest. 7th grade.
I think the balls were born first, and then he came out and just attached to it.
So I tell the kid, I'm like, hey, are you on any kind of weight or strength or conditioning programs? Like, I'm trying to get around it and he goes, I have ADHD. I was like, what?
Well, that's great.
Like, what kind of program was that? Like, yeah. So then another kid was like, I need to get stronger. I go, do steroids. I was kidding. The kid heard me though, but
so you'll say that. Hey, kid, do some steroids, but I won't tell you that you're fat. But I will tell you.
If he has ADHD, he can probably get on like Adderall, which would help him lose weight. So
that would, yeah.
Yeah. I was obviously joking. So that was
a little kitty coke. They call it, that's how, when it's cocaine with a K. That's how you know you got the good stuff. So
so last year they told me, like, I told them, like, guys, I can't coach anymore. I drive an hour to get there, and it's an hour.
Right.
I get paid virtually almost nothing. I just do it for the, I love the sport, trying to help change the world.
Yeah, it's 3 miles from your house.
It's 11 miles, 12 miles.
Which in LA, that 11 miles takes forever to cross in LA.
Yeah.
I'm Woodland Hills to Brentwood, right?
Yeah.
Twice a week, just trying to and my wife's like, what do we, why do you keep doing this? And, I tell her about wrestling and how great it is. It's like the purity and how spiritual, but at the same time.
Do you tell her how you were the 8th grade champ 3 times?
Yes, I did tell her that.
Okay, good.
4-time New England champ.
4-time 8th grade champ.
Never been done before. Well, I was the 3rd person to ever do it. Anyway, so here's the deal. So they told me, I go, listen, I can't coach because also my daughter, I got to pick her up from school. And they're like, listen, we want you to coach, doing it 15 years. Like, we'll have kids watch your daughter during practice and they'll get points for like community service, right? for the school.
That's what you want. You want your daughter's community service. Yeah.
Yeah. You want someone to have community service.
Yeah, those are always the top-notch kids too. There's never any loose wheels in there.
So they gave her this little girl last year she was amazing, the sweetest girl. You could just tell, like Violet had so much fun with her, but she was like telling me, right? She took off her shirt one day, like the little black girl. She's jacked, right? I'm like, do you do any sports? She's like, oh, I used to box with my cousin was a pro athlete. I'm like, you ever think about wrestling? She's like, well, I kind of, I find it very interesting. I would love to learn. So I'm like, you got to join a team. She joined a team yesterday. She beat up the entire team.
Nice. Nice.
This girl might be the next fucking Jordan Burroughs, a female. I mean, the first day just threw everyone. This started off with my daughter's babysitter, but now I'm pissed because I need a new babysitter for my kid, and I'm like, oh man, I just because she's a good babysitter, but with another girl who's actually really.
You have the short fat kid be the babysitter, and let the babysitter be.
I was gonna say that was the day the short fat kid decided to become a comedian.
As long as he doesn't teach her how to eat, Well, I tell you what, here's the motivation for the guys that lose and have to wrestle off against a girl. If they lose, they have to be the babysitter for the day.
There it is.
I'm not letting these boys near my kid.
That's true.
But there's another kid named this kid's like Jewish, right? And I think he did like Krav Maga.
That makes him okay?
No,
you're racist. You're racist.
Judy is not a race, but okay. So here's the deal. So it's one of those things where the kid did kind of Krav Maga, so he gets a takedown, right? And he goes like this, and like he's ready to throw a punch in the middle of wrestling practice. Like he has his knee on belly. He's ready to do ground and pound, and I had to tackle this. I'm like, what are you doing? This is wrestling.
I think it's surprising. Adam was shocked that a Jew would go too far in retaliating. That's there's no precedent for that any time in world history.
The other kids tried throwing rocks at him, so I don't know. Maybe it was So here we are. Let's talk about the fights. Do you guys watch the fights?
Yes.
No.
Sean,
I didn't even know there were fights.
Great.
There weren't fights so much as a first aid video with many demonstrations on how to handle a giant gash on different people.
Yeah. So basically, one of the fights I was looking forward to was Sarah McMahon, Aspen Ladd. Aspen Ladd missed weight again. This is like the third or fourth time she missed weight.
You should fire her ass.
Right. I mean, it's just,
she's of no value. She either needs to move up or she's of no value to the company. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. And then what happens with the other girl, Sean? When someone misses weight, do they get paid or what?
If I guess you get your show money, which doesn't make sense to me. Like if your opponent, if you fight your opponent, you get 20 or 30% of their purse. If you fight him, if you don't, I think you only get your show money. Seems to me like you should get your win money too, because why should you only get half your money because the other person didn't make the weight? It doesn't make sense to me. But the UFC really is pinching pennies because from what I've heard, they're in financial trouble. Like they're not making hundreds of millions of dollars every quarter, so they can barely afford to pay their fighters. So
really,
they only make $100 million a quarter.
Yeah. I was being sarcastic. No, the UFC's doing a record. They're doing record profits every quarter. Is like, oh, we made another $7 billion this year or this month. You know what I mean? But they the fighter pay seems to stay the same. It's strange.
Well, right. So the main event was Corey Sandhagen versus Song Yadong. It was actually a really good fight while it lasted. What happened was Song Yadong won the first. I thought he won the first and the second. Some people thought he lost the second. Sandhagen kind of figured him out in the third. And the fourth, Sandhagen just started coming in with elbows, like literally just throwing elbows, cut him up right above his eye. And then his gash just blew up and they stopped it going to the fifth. And they gave the fight to Sandhagen before the fifth round started. But
that cut started in like the second round.
Yeah, started in the second round. But it was by a strike though.
He was coming in, caught him with the elbow, but that was and it just got bigger and big, and everyone was calling for them to stop it except the doctor. All the commentators are like, "Oh yeah, this is over," and he's like, "Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
So, I don't. And then the commentators couldn't believe it. They're like, "Wow, this doctor really likes a good fight." That's a shocker. He's allowing this to continue.
But I thought it was a pretty good fight. I mean, I think if that cut hadn't happened, I almost think Sangyeong would have won. Corey Sandhagen, they're both really good guys. It seems like there was no shit talking. They're like, it has nothing to do with martial arts. And but Sandhagen was aiming for the eye, which he should have at that point. But I almost in some ways think Sandhagen's like too nice of a fighter. Like he doesn't seem to have that like straight killer instinct that other guys have. I don't know. It's just he's a good fighter. He won the fight, but it was weird. It was a weird fight. It was a weird fight.
What you're saying is he'll probably never win via terror. Terrorizing the opponent.
Greg, who do you think was winning the fight?
Well, I mean, you know who analyzed it perfectly was Din Thomas, because he was saying Song Yadong came out there and was dominating him in the first, and he realized I don't have the strength advantage here. I gotta beat him with I gotta damage him. And he went to the elbows and he cut his fucking face open, and that was his best defense, and it worked like a charm. Yeah,
it was a good fight. The other fight was good was the Chitty Bang fight. Chitty and Jikawani.
Yeah.
Chitty Bang Bang. He fought this guy. What was the guy's last name, Greg?
Rodriguez.
So Chitty Bang came out and just hit him with a knee that was like a perfect knee. And a lot of refs would have stopped the fight. It was just like, but this guy is like, I guess his nickname is RoboCop, because he came back and won the fight via stoppage, but it was straight up like Rocky style. Like Chitty Bang beat the shit out of him. The guy was cut in his head. His head was a
massive cut across the brow, right
squirting
there.
Blood. And he didn't stop though. He came back and won. It was if there's one fight to watch, I'll watch that fight. Anything you want to say about that?
It's natural that when a guy reminds you of Rocky, you nickname him RoboCop. It makes sense.
I was thinking he was like Terminator. I mean, no matter how much damage he took, he just kept coming. It was a remarkable fight, but he also didn't get the feeling that Rodriguez, like, he could do it again. Like, it seemed like, you know what I mean? Like, you weren't going, oh my God, watch out for this guy in the future. You're just like, wow, what the fuck just happened? So, yeah. I mean, he gutted it out and he put it all on the line, but against a better fighter, I don't know that's going to work.
I don't know. I mean, he ran through Julian Marquez, who's a good fighter. This dude's one to watch. Another guy who won, which is pretty funny, this guy Pfeiffer. I think it's Pfeiffer. So the guy wins.
Yeah, Pfeiffer. Yeah,
the guy wins the fight via knockout, and then at the end goes, "Thank you, Dana White. I was broke. I had no money. Dana supported me and gave me some money to live. And thanks." And oh boy, you're like, what? Like, you know, Dana was like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, now every other fighter is gonna be hitting him up. Like, I need money to live. That was pretty damn funny. I felt bad for Touchy Feely. He won his fight, clearly won. The game was split decision at the end. But at the end, he was like, "Hey man, it's been a rough week. My girl had a miscarriage, and we lost a baby." It was just like he started basically almost crying. It was just that was hard to watch.
That's a tough one to unload, because you know it's not like you'd be like, "Oh, we didn't know that." You know what? Let's reverse it.
Like, no, he won his fight. He like won.
He did win. That's right. Actually, he did win. That's right.
Yeah. So that was rough. And then before that, this guy, the leech Jackson, who came to my show, who was like, "I'm gonna fuck this dude up." He won against this guy Sabatini. He was a big underdog, Damon Jackson, and his brother died last week. So they kept talking about it up into the lead, and then he just murders the fucking guy afterwards. And then dedicated to his brother. So that was. You felt really good.
I feel like we're unlocking the worst possible fight prep technique ever. Like, you just need someone really close to you to die, and then you're unstoppable. Like, I don't know. I think we may be tapping into something we don't want people.
As far as the girl fight, there was a girl fight, Don. I still think a lot of these girl fights are like basically UFC 1, where it's like jiu-jitsu versus striking, or because this girl, Jillian Robertson, who clearly was better on the ground against how do I say it? Akabava or Agabava? I'm butchering the name, but she the girl Agabava outlanded
Akapova.
Akapova outlanded her 70-3. I mean, she was just, and the girl kept going for submissions, rolling stuff, pulling guard, and was just getting murdered, right? Like she was just getting killed. At the end, the girl finally had an arm triangle, but it was time was out. And then in the second round, she gets a takedown, throws in an arm triangle, and wins. It was like jiu-jitsu versus striking. But the girl's defense for the arm triangle was she didn't fight the hands. She spit out her mouthpiece and bit her own tongue. That was the defense to this. And then started having convulsions after she got choked out because her tongue was gone probably. And Sean, I mean, there's no way her coach has told her that.
Maybe she just wanted to try something new. She's caught in a bad spot. Like maybe if I bite my tongue off, things will change. I don't know. That's a weird technique. I'm always amazed, man, at some jiu-jitsu is easy for me to pick up. I don't know, and I'm not by any means like world-class grappler or anything, but I see some of these guys and girls in there and I'm like, do they know any jiu-jitsu at all? Like when I see them on the ground, I'm like, do they have any clue what they're doing? You know what I mean? Because they won't, a guy will have side control. They won't go for an underhook. They won't try to dig for an underhook. They won't shrimp to try to regain half guard. That's like they have no even basic training at all on jiu-jitsu, which is probably how people felt when they saw my striking. But I actually tried on striking. I just never got any better at it, but I worked really hard on my striking. I just never got any better at it. But the jiu-jitsu level, sometimes UFC is, and it's easier to say. I mean, I guess if you've been elbowed in the face or head a couple of times, maybe you don't think as quick either. But some of the times, man, it's just like I'll be sitting there watching it and thinking either I'm like a genius at jiu-jitsu or this person knows nothing because it's so obvious what they should be doing and they're not doing it,
What's up, people? Football is back, and BetOnline is your number one source for all football betting needs and sports info this season. Find all the latest football odds, news, and game matchups, including this year's opening week games. BetOnline is your continued source for all your wagering information, including live betting, free contests, and live scores. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, even golf. Head over to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code CLNS50 to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Well, she is from Kazakhstan, and it sounds like some of the old Kazakh army training. If you get captured, swallow on tongue. Do not talk. And I think that shit just kicked in. That's what I thought. A lot of good training methods here today.
Anthony Hernandez had a great fight. I love that guy, Fluffy. He spiked the guy on his own head. That was pretty awesome. And then there was a guy named Moda fought this guy Van Camp, and the whole time the other guy had his chin in the air, right? And the whole time the commentator's like, this guy's head's too high, his chin's too high, his chin's too high, and the guy's talking shit with his chin in the air, and within 20 seconds he gets caught with a fucking wide left, and it is out. That I don't understand. Don, why are guys still having their chin in the air in the UFC?
Because they're stupid. They're fucking stupid. It's ridiculous. UFC's been around for 25 years. Everybody's still making the same mistakes, that were made in the first 10 of them. It's just there's been no improvement, and it's ridiculous.
I mean, but you're a coach, right? You must tell the guy. I mean, put a weight on the guy.
The first thing,
yeah.
That's the first thing you tell them. Feet wide apart. Shoulder width. Don't cross them while you're moving. Keep your eyes on your opponent. Never take your eyes off. Never turn your back to your opponent. There's simple things that are just basics. You always go back to the basics.
Do you think it's almost like a mental strength thing? Like what? Because it comes back to the old, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. Do you feel like they know that's what they're supposed to do? It's just they get in that ring and everything flies out of their fucking head.
Yeah, I think they forget. They get too nervous and they're too stupid. They think, it won't happen to me. It won't happen to me.
And then boom. Nice.
Yeah. So that,
I think a lot of guys aren't sparring hard anymore either, which is probably a good thing for long-term health. But if you don't spar, that's an unfortunate part of the sport, man. You really do have to spar hard leading up to a fight, because if not, the first time you get zapped with one, you know what I mean, or whatever it does, it throws you completely off if you're not used to getting hit. You know, you have to get used to getting hit. It's an unfortunate part, but it's I mean, that's what they sign up for, you know.
Who was the hardest guy showing you ever sparred against?
Oh God, man. Tim Sylvia hit pretty hard, but he'd like to take advantage of you when you were tired. He would come in like after you had sparred 3 rounds and come in fresh. Matt Mitrione would head kick you when you were just boxing. You weren't even kicking. So you had to watch him like it was stuff like that. Matt's the only one that ever like actually not knocked me out, but close knocked me out in sparring, because it's typical for me anyway. When there's 3 seconds left in a round and you've gone 2 or 3 rounds, you don't try to kill each other with 3 to 5 seconds left. You know, like when the 10-second timer rang 5 or 7 seconds ago and you know it's about to be over and you're finishing your last round, like you typically let up. But Matt decided one time to hit me with a 6-piece combo with 3 seconds left when I thought we were done, and like finished it with a head kick, like after hitting me on the jaw twice, once straight in the face and a head kick after. I was spinning for days, man, like after that.
And let me ask you something. How can you be cool with somebody after a moment like that?
Well,
like I would be so not cool with that.
I would have beat his ass if I was coherent enough to do it. And I probably would have shot him if I could have got down to my car to get a gun. I was so mad that I was so dizzy. Like I sat down like I was tired, but really I didn't even know where I was at for literally like 3 hours. I didn't know where I was at, because all I know is I heard the 10-second timer, the round's almost over. We kind of clinch up. And as we go to break up, I'm like reaching out like, hey, good round. Next thing I know, I catch 6 to the face with the finishing being a head kick, you know what I mean, or whatever. And I was like,
God damn.
Yeah. But we didn't spar. We got, every time after that we sparred, we got in a real fight. So it was only about 3 more times we would get in a real fight. We'd stop doing it, because it's there's a lot of guys like that. They want to test. They go light until they think they're better than you, or they think you're tired. Then they want to start teeing off to knock you out in front of everybody. Like that's their goal. So I got to a point where I would only spar with very, very few people, man, because you got too many gym superstars that they want to do that. They love to come in, hey, just run one more round with me. And I'll be like, well, dude, I just did 4 rounds. Give me a second. Come on, man, work through it. You're tired. You know, like they're brand new, fresh. You just went 12 minutes, you know what I mean? Or whatever, 15 minutes.
Yeah, Jesus.
And, okay, I'll work one with you. And then before you know it, a minute into the round, they're swinging for the fences, you know, like when you're gassed, you know. So there's a lot of that goes on. But I just started threatening to kill people, literally, to go out and get my gun and shoot them if they did it. And it's kind of knocked that off. So.
Don, who's the best guy you ever spar with?
Sam Sotelo. One of my sparring partners, you know, had those 4 Mexican guys, you know, and Sam hit like a fucking freight train, you know, he really did. Just amazing puncher and wrestler.
Whatever happened to him?
He just had a, typical Mexican head kids, before he got out of high school, had to get a good job, you know, shit.
So I want to show you guys something that I ran into. I saw this video, which I thought was the craziest start to a fight that I've ever seen. And I couldn't wait to show you guys. All right. So can you guys see this?
Yes.
All right. So I gotta somehow.
Oh yeah.
So this is might be the funniest thing I've ever seen. Well, not funniest, but crazy. All right. So ready and watch this. So they're starting the fight right here. The ref
is a double leg jump,
and then he lets it go
throws
again.
the ref out. Yeah, that was the most fucked up part, was the ref clearly stopped it immediately, and the guy throws the ref, keeps going, and then the ref's just like, yeah, let's keep going.
But how do you even like prepare for a guy to do a running drop kick start? I mean, Sean,
he obviously has not been watching WWE, because he would have been ready for that right off the bat if he had watched anything with WWE in it. I like how the ref let it continue, kind of like in Rocky IV when Drago starts. The ref tries to stop the fight when he's killing Apollo Creed, and Drago pushes him off. Then the ref lets it go, and they just start fighting again. Like, okay, well, I guess he's still going. You know, like
pretty much. This is some Van Damme shit right there.
Like people were saying that, like, oh man, I would quit if I was the other guy. I almost think that if I'm coaching the guy, I'm like, listen, man, you're never going to see that again. Like, I really wouldn't worry about it. Here's another guy at McDonald's. Now watch this guy. Don, can you see this or no?
Yeah.
Look at this guy.
Okay, knocks that guy out.
Knocks that guy out.
Squares up, knocks that guy out. guy's superstar just beating up everybody. Well, you can tell he's a trained fighter. He's killing all these dudes. And now he takes his shirt off. I love it. Is this Russia? Boom! There goes, what is that, the fourth guy?
He pushed the girl.
She's like, come on, stop. He's like, get the fuck off me. I'm killing all these motherfuckers. This guy wants the second round. It might be round 3, actually. Oh, got him with a knee. Drops him. He's out. I love it. He even acts like he's out, like, I'm out.
I like how after he's been knocked down 3 times, he still thinks it's a good idea to come back and go for more. He doesn't even attempt to throw a punch. Just stands up and walks forward again.
Oh, no, sorry. All right, hold on. How do I stop?
I think you're pressing all the wrong buttons here, Adam.
Hold on.
Right now, it sounds really horrible on our
Okay.
end. There we go.
All right, now we're good. Yeah, I mean, so somebody needs to sign that guy, though. I mean, that dude is like the...
Yeah. To that one where they fight in the phone booth.
But first, as far as the flying drop kick, Sean, your thoughts?
So Fabricio Verdum did it to Travis Brown. It was only a 1-footed kick, but it's I mean, you can surprise some guys with something like that. I think it would have been hilarious if the dude would have just stepped to the side and watched what happened. Because like when you're out vertical like that in the air and the guy moves, you're just going to land.
He's flying through the he's going to fly into the fence at that point.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like it when someone pulls something unexpected right off the bat, like when Verdum did that, or like when Brendan Schaub opens with a funny joke, like something you never see coming.
Oh my God.
Like,
there it is. How long do we get? We got a good ways in. We got 41 minutes in.
I've never watched Brendan Schaub. I never watched 1 minute of his comedy. Not one.
Me
minute.
neither. I don't know any of it.
But somebody sent me one of him with Dana White, and I actually did watch that, and I applaud him for trying new stuff because it just happened. Like it just happened. Him and Dana went at it. But at the same time, like maybe the time to post this stuff isn't the first day you try it. You know, like it's one of those things where you have to hone shit. Like you try it once, at least I do. You know, I try a joke once, twice, 3 times, especially a 5-minute bit. And then you go, okay, what worked? What didn't work? You know, how do I craft this? It start off as an ice sculpture, and you got a big chunk of ice, and you go, and then a week, 2 weeks later, where he posted it right away, and of course, every comment is like, "Where are the jokes? This is unfunny. I want my money back." And I saw it on TikTok, or you know, this isn't but it's like, bro, it just happened, which is cool that you're doing it, but maybe before you post it for the whole world to see, you actually like craft it, you know.
All Dana White said, Dana White was saying that it was crazy that Pat Miletich said it was a setup to switch the fights around and it was a conspiracy. And someone said, I thought Brendan Schaub said that, not Pat Miletich. And Dana White just said, oh, it makes sense. That's all he said. And then Brendan tries to turn it into a whole feud between them because he's irrelevant. And he's trying to make it in. But his cadence and delivery is getting so cringeworthy. It's like everything he says now is like, come on, Dane, I thought we were friends. Like everything he says ends with, you want some of Papa? Like it's like every line ends like that. He's trying to be Chris D'Elia. Like he's just texting a few underage girls short of being Chris D'Elia. You know what I mean? Like that's all he's got to do. He's trying to steal his whole act. It's ridiculous, but that's his new delivery. You know how like Mitch Hedberg had his cadence, and then other people like Schaub's new one is just to extend a word out. So he's like, "What the fuck?" Like that's every.
I think there was kind of funny stuff in that 3 minutes that he posted, but it just like you just have to put the best up. You got to really fucking find it. You know, I mean, that's if I was going to give him any advice, but it doesn't need my advice, but he's doing fine the way he is. But I mean, Greg, don't you think that people should, before you post something, really like fine tune it as a comedy coach?
No. Do whatever you want. Who am I to tell you to stop? Especially when it comes to Brendan, do your thing, man. You want to, you don't, apparently you're bulletproof. So go ahead, do it. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Listen,
right.
If there's somebody that I really wanted to see become a great comedian, I might not tell them to do that, but everyone can do whatever they want on TikTok. People are posting shit. People are paying to promote clips that aren't funny.
Yeah,
I'll see sponsored clips and I'll be like, "Who's this?" And because first I think it's someone I know, and I'm like, "Who is this?" And then I realized it's a sponsored clip, and I'm watching it. I'm like, well, they should have been funny by now. Jesus Christ. They'll be like, oh, I don't even know this person. Fuck off, you know? But I'm like, why would you pay to promote something not funny? Jesus.
TikTok for me has become like, you get like 90 seconds of life coach advice. Some of it's actually really good. Like the guy that
some of it is. Some of the inspirational stuff's actually pretty good.
The guy that got kicked off, the guy that got banned, what's his name? There was a guy that like went viral, and he was a kickboxer.
Andrew Tate.
Yeah, that guy. But he actually has some, like, I watched him, and he's like, look, you know, forget feeling like you want to go work out. You have to go just work out. Your feelings have nothing to do with whether or not you're ready or not. Just
right. I love shit like that. Exactly.
Get up, and I'm like, man, I don't feel like working out. What? That's like, fuck what I feel. And then I go into the gym. Like, that's actually like, I don't know what the guy said that was so controversial where he got banned from every single platform. Like, literally,
he started questioning the COVID vaccines, and then they said it was because he was saying misogynistic stuff, as if that never happens anywhere online. But he started questioning the COVID stuff, and he started questioning the the billionaires, whoever it is that runs everything is what he was talking about. You know what I mean? Like whoever really is in charge. And then, and what's amazing is they all banned him at once. It's almost like it was planned. Like they all, like he said, his Uber account got shut down. His bank accounts got shut down. He lost his Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everything all at once, just like they did Alex Jones, you know, but it's all just coincidental. Like it's not like those people are working together to do it. It all just so happens the same night they shut off your entire existence. Like it's amazing how it all works out that way.
But I feel like they made it bigger. I mean,
that's what ends up happening, man, a lot of times with you. My son told me about him. What's sad is my son's like, there's this guy that got real famous. He reminds me of you. And the first thing I see Andrew Tate saying is that women are stupid and they need to be in the kitchen and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I told my son, wait, that guy reminds you of me like that? He goes, well, you guys just say a lot of the same stuff. And so like the first 10 things I saw him say were the most offensive things ever. And then I was like, wow, man, like it kind of made me like question, like I didn't know my son was watching my podcast. So, when
McCorkle, you're a real 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of a guy.
Right. When my son said that, I was like, wait, he reminds you of me? Because I was like, everything I saw him say was super offensive. And I was like, all right.
So tomorrow night, or actually today's Tuesday.
But it's definitely because of the vaccine stuff.
So tonight,
quite possibly.
So, well, I mean, he did. I was watching with my wife. I'm like, this guy has some good points. And then his thing is, he goes, listen, if you cheat on your wife and like you don't care about the girl, that's not cheating. That's exercise. And she's like, I'm like, yeah, maybe not everything this guy's saying is like what you should be promoting.
Well, he knows what he's doing. He's putting out clickbait to get people, you know what I mean, interested.
This is working. We're talking about him. And look, that's such an Adam moment in your life where you're watching it, it's all inspirational. Like, you just got to get up, fuck your feelings, go work out. Like, yeah, I love this guy. Hey, check it out, Bree. And look, if you cheat on your wife with some hoe, that's just exercise. You're like, he said some other workout.
That is exactly what happened. My wife's like, this is the most insecure man I've ever.
Yeah, like, I think you had some great workout tips. I thought it was more of those.
Right. Now, so tonight in the Contender Series, the UFC signed a 17-year-old kid. Who's competing. He's 17, but he's fought on Indian reservations before. So he's undefeated, 16-0.
Did he win the Native American Reservation State Wrestling Championship 4 years in a row? Because if not, I don't buy it.
Now, do you think that's...
I'm so lost on the wrestling championship 4 years in a row.
In high school,
I don't get that joke.
Greg, in high school, I loved wrestling, right? In high school, I won.
And in the 8th grade, he won the state title. Now, he has parlayed that into winning the high school championship 4 years in a row, but it was the 8th grade championship.
I went to prep school, which is not the same as winning public school, but that's where I was at. And I won the Class A New England championships 4 years in a row. And I won the all New Englands twice in a row. The Northern New Englands 3 times. Now, I didn't win in nationals. I was undefeated going to nationals my senior year. I got impetigo and yada yada, the whole fucking other thing. But
he's Jewish.
So me winning that, Greg has reduced that to me winning a race in the 8th grade. So whenever I mentioned that I've like I wrestled too. Like Tom Ryan, who's the coach at Ohio State. I went to wrestling camp at Hofstra, and he offered me a scholarship to Hofstra. So I was obviously pretty fucking good because I beat a couple college kids in high school. But that has now come to like me. I won a game of tic-tac-toe in seventh grade.
Field day in eighth grade, you ran the three-legged race.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, we all know the truth. We all give him credit, but we also know how much it bothers him. So when I bring this up, and then our audience chimes in on it too, like, oh, there he goes, he won that, and then he starts posting stuff, pictures of him winning his championships and shit.
So anytime we have a fighter on with a wrestling background, I'm like, oh, I wrestle too, fucking Speedy McFucking asshole over here has to come in and be like, hey, he fucking won a game of Parcheesi in the 4th grade. And it's fucking, that's what it comes into. And the person's confused. Now, is 17 years old too young for a UFC contract? Don?
Yeah, because just legally, you're opening yourself up to, a big case. It's stupid. I mean, why can't they wait 1 year for this 17-year-old to be, considered an adult to sign him, or else they can sign him and put him on the shelf? Put him out there at 17, you're just opening yourself up. But then again, UFC can fight you in court until your great grandchildren die of old age. So, right.
Yeah, but from the kids' perspective, though, I mean, would you jump at the chance to? I mean, UFC gives you a contract. I mean, I couldn't imagine the kid wanting anything more.
But legally, you can't sign the contract.
Well, he has to win tonight. He has to win tonight and win in impressive fashion for Dana to offer him a contract. So it's really basically just a tryout on the Contender Series tonight.
So the parents though did have to sign off on that though.
Don, I mean, Sean, you think this is a good idea?
I mean, consider the UFC contract is a slave contract anyway. Like he can sign when he's 17. He's not going to be out of it till he's 78. So if he doesn't, if he wants out. So no, it's so funny. I had a lawyer look at my contract just to verify when the UFC sent it to me that it was the most unfair contract in the history of sports. Like I literally had a lawyer look at this, like just to verify this is the most unfair thing you could possibly sign, right? And he read it and he goes, "Yeah, I can." Dude, they own your image, your likeness forever. They own if you become famous for something else, they still own your rights, like your image and likeness.
Wow.
They can extend you as long as they want under certain circumstances. If they offer you a fight and you turn it down, they can extend it another year. They always say we have to offer fighters 3 fights a year. No, they don't. They don't have to do. Their contract is 54 pages. Their contract is so ridiculous. There's a page in it that you have to sign saying you understand it's a really unusual contract. Like this is not the norm in sports contracts. Like you have to actually basically sign saying you're a dumbass for signing this contract, that you understand how unfair this is. Like and so when they offered it to me, because I used to be, believe it or not, I'm actually pretty bright. I had my own multi-million-dollar business when I was 25 years old. So I read my own contract and I told my agent, it was Monty Cox at the time. I said, "Hey, can I get rid or change this, or this? I don't like these certain things in this." And he said, "No, everybody signs the same contract. There is no negotiation." And I said, "Well, I don't understand how they can have my rights to my image and likeness forever. Like forever. They own my name. They own, everything. I don't understand. Even after I die, they own my image and my likeness. And that means they don't have to, and you give it to them for free. They don't have to pay you for I got $7.67 for my Topps trading cards, and they made me sign 500 of them. So they make you sign 500 of them. I got $7. I got $2,000 for being on the video game. I thought it was a joke. When I opened the check, I thought it was supposed to be funny that I was getting $2,000 for being on the video game. I was thinking it was gonna be like $50,000 because everybody I know in the WWE gets 50 to 100 grand to be on a game. It is an absolute like slave contract, something like 56 pages long, and it's all basically.
It's like changed since then.
Not that I know. Everybody I've talked to says like that's why Nate Diaz can't get out of his contract. He's been there forever, and he can't. The only way you can possibly get out is to become a real big star like Nate did, and then just refuse to fight unless they give you better terms. But even then, Nate was something like 20 fights in, and he was still making 20 to show and 20 to win, like 20 some fights into his contract. And Monty told me when I beat Mark Hunt, and then I lost to Struve. And then he told me what my next 3 contracts would be, regardless if I won or lost. And I was like, he said, if you win your next 3 fights, you'll only get and 15 or 17 and 17. If you win one, lose one, you're going to be, he told me what it was going to be. He said, unless you win the title, you will never make more than like 25 and 25 fighting in UFC. He said, because it's not like you have to, it goes up $2,000 to $3,000 a fight for every win. It stays the same with every loss. So if you go, let's say 10 and 5, you're only going to go up to about, you start at 8 and 8. To win 10 fights, you're going to be at 28 or so, but you won't go up when you lose your 5. So yeah, you could be making $50,000 after 30 fights in UFC. You know what I mean? Like, unless they decide to give you, which, why would they, you know what I mean? Decide to give you a big thing. And then what they'll do is, not to go on forever, but what they'll do is they want to renegotiate your contract a year and a half before it's up when you have one fight left. And if you don't agree to their terms, they'll just sit you for a year and a half. Like, they know most of those guys are living fight to fight. So you got 18 months left on it. You got one fight left. Like, okay, you don't want to agree. You can sit out for 18 months. Then we'll put you in with the worst possible matchup the last week of your contract, not put you on TV. That's what they tried to do to Andrei Arlovski. He wouldn't agree to their contract. They sat him for like a year or 14 months and then put him on the preliminary, didn't televise his fight, and then didn't interview him after it, even though he had 12 or 15 fights in UFC at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
Tom, was that your experience too?
So that,
Did you have the same experience with contracts UFC?
my contracts were different back then, you know, because they were nobody, but it's still, yeah, pretty much signed your life away. Because and I blame my agent for that, because my agent should have been smart enough to fucking, you know, read it and negotiate it. And that's what you hire the dumb bastards for, you know. Is
Yeah, that's true.
Try and get it in your favor a little bit, you know, and it's basically just there, just sign this, you know, because this thing may not be going on next year, you know. Just get the money while it's here, you know. But that's no way for an agent to fucking operate.
Now, Don, I heard I heard it in like Pride. They would drug test you, but not give you the results until you wanted to leave the company. And they go, "Oh, you want to leave? By the way, you failed 3. We're going to release this information saying that you tested." Is that true?
I don't know. I never heard about that one. I don't know.
Got it.
I have a question. Don, what did those guys make? What was like Mark Kerr or Coleman getting paid back in those days just for a regular fight? Do you know what they were being paid? Like in the early 2000s? Like, I always was curious what they were getting paid. I know the UFC wasn't paying shit. I just didn't know what Pride, what would Mark Kerr make on one of his, like against Volchanchin or something like that? What was he being paid? Do you have any idea?
I would think 100, 150. I don't know.
Wow. That's worth it.
I know Chris Lytle on his 20th fight in the UFC, I think got 3-3. I think that was something like that. He was on his 18th or 20th fight. He was at 3-3 still. So
on a different note, I remember Greg, when I was on Last Comic Standing, I had to like anybody that you like made fun of, they had to clear it. Like, you could obviously. So I remember going, my mom did a cocaine when she was pregnant with me. I was born in 2 months. I go, she was crazy, right? So they're like, hey, they sent me an email saying, hey, could you have your mom, who I haven't seen since I was 3, sign a contract saying it's okay that Adam said that like she's crazy. I'm like, first of all, who's gonna fucking find? I'm gonna go. Who's gonna sign a contract admitting that like they're crazy? Like, anybody that like signs this contract is gonna have to be crazy. Like, and then I was looking at, these are the notes that I used to get, because you have to put all your jokes in, and they would just like whitewash your jokes, send them back to you. I remember I used to like save the notes I would get back. These are the notes from the network, NBC, when I was in 2008. Adam, here are the notes on revised set. I'll check with Andrew about the, quote, orgasm mention. Paragraph 10, lose the shit mention. Paragraph 28, the camel toe ring is rejected. Paragraph 32, the penis/headband joke is still rejected, right? Paragraph 33, lose the orgasm mention. He could say, then the fireworks went off and balloons started falling down from the ceiling. Some guy walks in with a big oversized check, right? Paragraph 39, lose the putting my testicles on my girlfriend's shoulder line. We need something less graphic.
How did you make the finals?
I heard Staub tried out for it, and they said lose the what the fuck, and then he had no material left. He was like, well, there's their punchline.
The fact that somebody had to put testicles on my girlfriend's shoulder line.
Yeah.
So all right. Also, as far as fight news this week, Bellator.
Oh, that's right. We do fighting.
Another secret show. They have Ben Henderson is fighting Peter Queally. Yoel Romero is fighting Melvin Manhoef in Bellator.
Nice. I mean, if this were 2014, but
like maybe 1914. I mean those 2014, that would still be an older fight for those guys. And then Georgie Karakanyan is also fighting on the undercard. That was the guy who, remember, you were going to be his manager, Greg.
Oh yeah, I love Georgie.
Yeah.
Where is he? This is at Bellator?
Bellator this week.
Nice. Sorry, Bellator is hard to. You see what you want, and then it like switches up on you. It's like, what about these fights? Like, hey, I was looking at that.
Yes. So that's going on. So Yoel Romero and Melvin Manhoef are combined 91 years old.
That's like how the WWE used to do combined weights on tag teams. They should do combined ages on Bellator fights and see who has the highest combined age. Did I ever tell you guys about when Melvin Manhoef's striking coach tried to give me some advice?
Yeah, you told me.
I thought he was just some stooge because he didn't look like a coach. Like he's about 400 pounds, and he was trying to give me. I was like, "Thanks, man. I appreciate it." Kind of just blew him off, and then later on, I found out he's a world-known striking coach that was being nice enough to try to help me out. So. Yeah, that
sounds on par for McCorkle.
Right.
You know what you got to do, Sean? You got to change your name to Cork McShonnell, and that way you get your image, name, and likeness back.
Right. There you go.
That's like, what's the name of that? Ultimate Warrior did that. He legally changed his name to Warrior.
Well, that's why Prince became that symbol for a little while, because he was like, "Your contract's with Prince. I'm the symbol."
Have you guys ever watched Purple Rain?
Oh no. Yeah, you know what's so funny? I rewatched it not too long ago. I don't know why. It's hilarious. It's so bad, but the music's fantastic.
Yeah, I was in tears laughing. Like I don't remember it being this bad. Like it's
it's so bad. It's so stupid and cheesy. It's terrible. The acting's horrible. Everything about it. But goddamn, that music is fucking transcendent. So what are you gonna do?
So there was a guy named Askar Mazharov, this guy with a neck tattoo. He failed his drug test. He got cut from the UFC. He lost to Alonzo Menefield. But the thing about this guy is he's had 4 different names. So he's got 4 different records. So he got into the UFC using one of his aliases, but he was like 0-7 as like another guy.
He ruined that guy's career.
So yeah.
Listen, as someone who has gone through a brand change myself, I respect that.
Jermaine Durandame is pregnant. That's news. She's had a weird career, that girl. Remember, she was like killing it for a while. She was a champion, and then she hasn't fought in a while, and she did okay against Amanda Nunes, but yeah, so she's pregnant. I don't know if you watched Ariel Helwani's show yesterday, but I saw clips because Paul Acosta came on with his shirt off, and he really wants to fight Chimaev. He's saying he took Chimaev's sleep, he took his this, he took his that, he missed weight because of him, but he's like 205 pounds, Chimaev, Paul Acosta. Chimaev fights at 170, or he should at least, and I still think Chimaev beats him. I hate to say it, but I think this is strange to call out a guy 3 weight classes below you who is probably going to win. I don't
Costa took more than his sleep. I'll tell you that. He's taken a lot of stuff, but I'm just curious on it. He's got phenomenal genetics, obviously, but I don't know how he's beaten the drug test. It is so, dude, you cannot look that way naturally. Maybe 1 in a million, you know what I mean? Somebody can, but just like we're talking about Yoel Romero earlier, unless he's from Mars or something, like how are you at 43 years old getting leaner, bigger, stronger without help? There's no way. I don't understand it.
So yeah, he said he wants to fight Chimaev. He goes, I stole his high, I stole his sleep, I stole his cap, I stole his main fight, I stole everything. Chimaev, you need to do something, motherfucker. I stole everything that you had. Your hat, your sleep, your weigh-in. You are disturbed. So crazy. I cannot do this. I will die. So I think I need to fight that guy.
I think he needs a better translator because none of that really made much sense.
What? You took his hat, and so what now?
Don't take a man's hat. That's going a little.
Did he know that you took his hat, or was he just like, all right, get a new hat? This is so dumb. This is one of those classic one-way rivalries where one guy thinks that you guys are rivals, the other guy's like, what?
No, he no, because they were going to a fight at the UFC PI, but Chimaev had like 30 guys with him. But I guess he was on an interview and they said it was his hat. That's Chimaev's hat. I guess he rubbed his balls with the hat or something. Like he took the hat and put it on his balls. So Mike Perry wants to fight Nate Diaz in bare knuckle boxing.
Of course he does. I'd like to fight Conor McGregor too, or Floyd Mayweather. Everybody always wants to fight someone super famous. High pay-per-view sales, but I don't know if Nate will do that. But that would. I heard they're paying Mike Perry from a reliable source $500,000 a fight, so they're getting money from somewhere. Like I don't know whose money they're blowing, but if Mike Perry's getting $500,000, I can only imagine what Nate could get for a bare knuckle fight with Mike Perry. So.
Yeah, probably $1 million.
If he get, that's what, it's funny because, Nate's probably making $2, $3, $4 million, whatever, fighting UFC, but people don't understand. If you can only fight once every 2 years, that isn't really that great. If he could fight once bare knuckle and make $1 million, $1.5 million, and then go fight, box Jake Paul or whatever for another $2 or $3 million, then to do whatever, another fight with somebody else. I mean, you can make, most guys want to fight more often. That's what one of the complaints with UFC is most of the guys want to fight more than once, except John Jones doesn't want to, but most guys want to fight more than once every 18 months, So
MMA fighting did a good thing on Cole Conrad. You guys remember Cole Conrad?
Yeah.
Nope.
So this is a guy, Greg, that was undefeated. He was a two-time national champion heavyweight. He was basically Brock Lesnar's training partner at Minnesota. And he was running through, he was killing everyone back in like the Strike Force days. And he left to go into the milk business. I guess his father was in at the milk. And he is basically one of the biggest what ifs, whatever happened to him. I mean, Brock said this was that Cole Conrad was the toughest guy in the room. And that was that actually Eric Paulson said, I guess he did some kind of milk distribution. They called him the polar bear. And he wanted to go into the whole milk business. He didn't have the
feels like you should have called him the milkman.
That's what I was thinking. Would have made more sense. I know when Bellator offered me a spot in their tournament, they were going to face me against. They were talking me and him in the first round of the tournament. I'm like, dude, I'm not fighting that guy in the first round of a tournament. Like Olympic wrestler, like there's no, like he'll just take me down and hold me down. There's nothing I'll be able to do. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like that's. And I think they were going to pay me $3,000 for it too. Like that was going to be a hell of a deal to fight. That was like when the company.
What about heavy cream?
Right.
Don, do you remember that guy, Cole Conrad?
No, sure don't.
Now, what happened? What's the real story with Brock Lesnar?
Half and half.
So, Brock Lesnar came to Arizona. You came out to train him, and Mark Kerr told you to get away. Is that what happened?
No, Mark Kerr came down with Brock and just kept getting in the way every time we tried to teach him something or show him something. Kerr would get in the way and argue and all this. So it was like, get this fucker out of here, Take this moron home. And he was all doped up, shit.
Now, what were some of the things that you were trying to teach Brock?
Fuck, I don't know. It's 15 years ago, man. Jeez.
but like right away,
how to wrestle.
I mean, as far as was he throwing?
Like for real.
But was he throwing punches the wrong way, or was his stance off, or like what was this?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I know that Pat Barry got paid $3,000 a week to spar with Brock Lesnar, but they told him he couldn't hit Brock. All that to say, they were hitting around on how much would it take for me to lose to him, and I never thought I would do that. Like I thought I had more morals than that, but I was like, well, how much are we talking? Like once they,
exactly. Everyone's got a price.
Yeah, it's like I really did. I was like, I mean, what are you guys talking like? If we're talking in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, I was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, never mind then. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not throwing a fight for 10 grand, but if we're talking $250,000, let me think about it. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see what if it's life-changing money, we'll see what I can do. So,
my computer just died.
We noticed.
I'm pretty sure it's still recorded.
Well, I was talking about fixed fights in KSW. So hopefully,
Well, Zoom records it and downloads it to your computer, so that's still recorded.
I know, but I don't know if it was like, I know what, I'm pretty sure we have it.
Well, I hope it didn't record while you were gone because we talked so bad about you.
No, I don't care about that. I just hope we.
Are you recording? Are you recording now?
Now I am, but it said it wasn't recorded up to that. So let me see. I hope it recorded up to where it was dropped, because then I'll have 3 different recordings. Because when I shared the screen the first time, when I showed you those fights, I put stop recording by accident, but then I recorded again.
No, I'm pretty sure you restarted. I remember seeing the thing.
Yeah. So I restarted then.
Yeah.
But I hope I didn't fuck up the last half. Anyway,
it's fine. We're not coming back to redo it.
What do you have coming up, Greg?
Coming up this Friday night, 8 o'clock, Hollywood Improv, 10 o'clock, in North Hollywood. And then next weekend, I will be doing in Vegas, the 8:30 show at the House of Blues Foundation Room in Mandalay Bay, and then the Dirty at 12:30 at South Point Casino and Hotel.
That's awesome. Sean?
I think I am in search of a new doctor or going back to Germany to have that procedure done on my back again, because it's either that or wrap my lips around a revolver. So that's
I vote Germany.
Germany.
Yeah, I think I may do that to just try to get some relief for a few months while I try to find a new doctor who will maybe, the last one, like I said, made me wait 10 months, then get psychologically tested, then say he's not going to do anything. So that was a year of my life. So yeah, I got to do something. So.
And then Don?
I just had a couple more weeks of this every 8-hour antibiotics, and then I'm a free man. You know, I can start doing things.
Good. We want to see it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no kidding.
This Friday, I'm at the Palm Springs Comedy Club in Palm Springs, California. So I hope you guys have a great time. Love you guys. See you guys next week.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.